The next speaker, Pınar, is Senior Vice President, SME, Small and Medium Banking Marketing at Akbank. Pınar, the floor is yours. I would be really interested from a banking perspective. What is it, what is it to be funded by a bank? Is this an option with Akbank? How does it work?
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Pınar. I work for Akbank, one of the top private banks in Turkey, and I'm head of SME marketing. And of course, our clients also involve entrepreneurs and startups. So I'm going to talk about how to be a financially solid entrepreneur today, how to bridge the gap between innovation and funding. The journey starts with the answer to the question, who is an entrepreneur? Some of you most probably know the famous poet named Robert Frost, an American poet. He has a very famous poem called The Road Not Taken. In this poem, the poet goes in the woods and he comes to a fork in the road where there are two roads in front of him. The road on the left is the one that has been worn away by the travelers passed by before. However, on the right-hand side, there's another road, which is thinner, and the grass is thicker. Clearly, this path has not been taken by the travelers. The poet thinks and decides to take the less traveled one. So, the answer to the who is the entrepreneur is a person who takes the less traveled road, and even in situations the road not taken before. Sorry.
We're stuck again with the...
Okay. So many business people would argue there's no silver bullet for success. However, when we take into consideration many entrepreneurs have in common certain characteristics that make their business thrive. I'm going to talk some of them. The first one is to have an idea. The ability to come up with a concept, envision what it looks like, and execute it effectively, and this is called innovation. The second one is understanding the market. Of course, having a brilliant idea doesn't always count. You have to really analyze the market, the competition, the dynamics of the market, and try to understand how your idea would work there. Every venture starts with a dream. And to make your dream come true, you have to set tangible goal or goals and with some certain time limits. Of course, having set your goals, you have to build a solid business plan in order to meet them. However, temptation is often to jump to start the venture with minimal planning. So my advice to you is be patient. Please devise a plan first, stick to it, and revise if circumstances change. Probably one of the most weakest points of every entrepreneur is how to manage the money. Money is what keeps a business afloat, and managing your cash flow is deadly critical. Always have some cushion, extra cushion for the unexpected, because as Murphy's laws dictates, the unexpected always happens. And you don't want to go bankrupt just because one of your payers' checks get bounced back in the bank. So this is probably the most critical answer you would be waiting for, how to get funds from a bank, because many entrepreneurs lack the initial investment to start business, and most of us already know that banks are very pessimistic and critical in evaluating a startup. So just like the 7 P's of marketing of Porter, we have the 5 C's of how to raise funds from a bank. The first one is the character. A bank judges your character based on your previous credit history. And secondly, if your previous business intellect is important because it has to be in some way connected to the new venture you're taking in. Secondly, credit capacity. The bank will conduct a full credit analysis, including a detailed review of your financial statements and personal finances. If your credit report is blemished, the bank will naturally wonder why would you pay for this time because you didn't pay it last time. The third C is the collateral. It's the primary source of repayment, and expect the bank to want more than what you're borrowing as collateral from you. And also the collateral's value is calculated on the market's value, not on the value that you paid before or what you think it's worth. The fourth C is the capital. Making a down payment is critical because if you do not, the bank will think that you haven't thought ahead. And secondly, the bank wants to know what your company owns rather than bonds, stocks, or apartment buildings that might be as an alternative repayment source. Because when things go wrong, when there's a loss, it's the company's assets, not the bank's assets, that has to be tipped. The last C is the comfort and the confidence with the business plan. A well-devised, well-thought-through, and a realistic business plan is very critical and looked very positively by the banks. In today's world, change is the only thing that's constant. Everything from technology to competition to the demands of the end users is changing by the minute. So keeping up with this change, adapting accordingly, and if possible, be one step ahead, even makes you above the competition. Embrace failure. None of us intend to fail when we start up a new business, but when we look at the history of the many successful entrepreneurs, we see that they have failed, and they have failed repeatedly. But they didn't abandon their dream. That's what makes them successful entrepreneurs of today. You're only a failure if you give up your dream. Just a few examples. Did you know that Steve Jobs was a college dropout and initially an unsuccessful businessman, and even got fired from the very company he founded, from Apple? Colonel Sanders, the founder of KFC, was turned away from more than 1,000 restaurants before one restaurant said yes to serving fried chicken. Lastly, Sir James Dyson, the founder of Dyson vacuum cleaners, went through more than 5,000 prototypes and nearly finished all his life savings. But at the prototype number 5,127, he made it. And now Dyson is the best #1 vacuum cleaner in all US. So don't be afraid to fail. In fact, you should welcome it, because from failure, you'll learn from mistakes and you won't repeat it the next time. The only failure is not to try again. Lastly, keep going, because above all the things I have said, luck is one of the key ingredients for success, and we don't know when we're going to get lucky. So please keep going. And also, I want to say I really appreciate all the entrepreneurs, because I feel for the challenges ahead of you. And I want to give you a big applause for all the entrepreneurs in this room.